Hi, Sparkles. This is episode 249 of Intuitive Wisdom. Today's guest is Rachel Corpus, an angel. And I don't mean that as a compliment, I mean it literally. Rachel is an actual angel from the seraphim realm, incarnated into a human body to learn and teach what it means to live in deep connection with Source. At just 4 years old, she had the first of many near-death experiences, crossing over and being shown what her life could become if she chose to return as a healer and a teacher. She came back, and her gifts only grew stronger from there. Today, Rachel is a professional channel who moves fluidly between the quantum realm and the multiverse of parallel realities, working alongside angels, ascended masters, souls on the other side, and high-vibrational extraterrestrials. In this conversation, we talk about what angels actually are and why Rachel says they're not religious figures, but messengers of pure love who follow us across every timeline. We talk about intuition as life force, how our brains work in patterns, and that you never miss a message meant for you, and how archangels move outside of time and space entirely. We also get into the multiverse, how you can actually pull wisdom from other lifetimes, from parallel versions of yourself, to design the life you're living right now. And stick around to the end because Rachel is going to channel a live message for you directly from the archangels. All right, here we go. I'm K. Margaret Solorio, certified Angel Reiki Master, intuitive guide, author of Make Ease Your Vibe, and creator of the Home Frequency Reset. This is Intuitive Wisdom, where we explore the connection between energy, intuition, spirituality, and the spaces we live in, so you can create more peace, clarity, and delicious ease in your home, your heart, and your life. Well, welcome, Rachel, again. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Oh, my vibe is good today. Thank you for asking.
Yes, I'm very excited you're here. You may know on this podcast, we explore what it means to live in alignment with your energy and how trusting your intuitive wisdom can transform your inner and your outer world. And so I was curious for you if you could share a time when your intuition nudged you into doing something unexpected.
Welcome to my life. I feel like these days I am guided by my intuition always. And more often than not, it's when I don't listen to my intuition that it kind of nips me in the tushy. Um, there was a time last week that I was leaving to teach a class, and I kept hearing in my mind, take the speaker, take the speaker. And I thought, I don't want to take that dang speaker. It doesn't work very well. I don't like it. I can never set it up. I can never. So I thought I was arguing, don't take it, don't take it. So I didn't. And then when I got to this class, person that was there that I hadn't seen in years said, hey, remember that speaker? Do you remember? There's a part from, if you ever see that again, I need it because mine broke, but there's a part in that I could
Oh,
use.
no.
And I thought, you know, I just need to get out of the way sometimes because that wasn't for my class at all. And that
Oh,
speaker's
that's a
been
good
taking
point.
up dust on my shelf and it was for somebody else. And I just would have not been so stubborn and put that speaker in my bag. It was for somebody else there.
That's a really beautiful reminder that sometimes the intuition nudges are just opportunities to let that life force flow and not all these hints of the right choice for yourself. That's wonderful. Well, you're here to talk to us about discovering the multiverse that we are, but also angels. Can you talk to us about how angels interact with us?
Mm. We are messengers. We are the conduits for the stuff that people forgot because
Hmm.
I'm an angel incarnate. So the way I got here on earth is through a mom and dad, everybody. But my soul stuff is I'm from the seraphim realm. Well, everybody here is from somewhere. It's not a special thing. Never met a human in my life, really. We're all from somewhere. Well, an angel is someone, by definition, we have a mission and a message. And we are here to help people remember that we are all connected to source, however we define source. And that connection to source throughout our incarnations, for whatever reason or whoever did it, we don't have to judge. We've created this mindset that we are separate from each other and we're separate from love and we're separate from source. And that message has gotten ingrained in our school systems, our churches, our money system. All the systems have separated us. Well, one of the messages that the angels, like me, get to share is, hey, remember, we're not separate. And anything that separates you from love, you can rewrite that. And the magical thing and the hard thing about right now is we're building processes within ourselves to do that. We're coming back to the how. It's not just an idea anymore. We get to rebuild the how. And I kind of forgot your question.
Oh, that's okay. I'm learning a lot already. How do angels interact with us? So you talked about
So
being
angels
messengers.
interact in very everyday ways. We break it down. We're boots on the ground. So we'll work through other people. We do what's called angel speak. So people get everyday messages through their friends, through their animals, through television, through podcasts. And we also send messages through numbers, synchronicities, because as humans, we love patterns. Our brains work in patterns. So we'll send it. It's like, ding dong, we're going to send you the message till you get it. We love you so much. You will never miss an angel's message. No one misses it because we keep sending it to you in the way that matches your learning style, where you are with your, if you're in an anxious season and it's hard to get messages, okay, we'll send it to you in a way that you're going to get it no matter what. We also have different types of jobs. There are worker angels that are assigned to when a building is being built. There are guardian angels that are assigned to a person. Every person, every being, even a tree, a cat, a ladybug, every person, every being has an angel assigned to them as part of their creation process. I am an angel incarnate, so I'm here for this incarnation. When I'm done, I go back to the seraphim realm. While I'm here, I have two guardian angels because I'm undercover as a human, we could say. There are archangels who are not limited to time and space, like Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel. There are cherubim who in literature and in art look like the fat babies. They don't really look that way. All sorts of different angels. And we have different jobs, but our main job is to help people remember that they don't need a go between them and source. And isn't that funny? Isn't it ironic that our job is to be the messenger, the go between, to help people remember that? When we do our job right, we disappear because there's no go between needed. When people remember that they are part of source again and they go back to source, so that means that all their choices, their self love returns. They start to remember that all their choices they're in charge of. Life happens through them and not to them. And they start to feel good in their skin again. They don't need their angels anymore. We disappear because we're also part of that go between. You don't need us. You don't need an amulet. You don't need a book. You don't need a priest. It's just you and source.
Wow, that's beautiful and powerful. I'm curious how you know you're an angel. Is that something you had to remember or you've always known?
Mm, well, I was born weird, like a lot of kids. But when I was 4, I had my first near death experience, and
Mhm.
my family was in a car wreck, and um, 2 angels that I was used to seeing, my guardians, they were 2 that took me out of my body. And then when I was out of my body with them, there was another voice, a grown-up voice, which was actually my voice, my consciousness. And so I'm saying that because it's how I remember that experience so much because I was in my grown-up part as well. And they took me back to heaven and they told me, they said, "You are a seraphim." basically a field trip from my earth life. And they walked me around and showed me the seraphim realm, showed me my job, my mission, as I speak about. They showed me lots of things that would be happening in the earth timeline, which we are experiencing now, and what would happen after, and all those things, and things about, what would happen in my life that really didn't make sense to me then because my 4-year-old self would pop in and I was like, ew, gross boys, yuck. No, thank you. And then, at some point, there was a choice I was given to stay there and fulfill the mission or to come to Earth. And I do not remember making a choice, but I remember thinking of my mom being sad, and then I was back in my body.
Hmm.
I don't really have the near-death experience where I remember coming back and being packed into my body. But later on in my life, I had other near-death experiences, and then I had that experience of being, like, shoved back in the small body.
Wow.
Big spirit back in the body. But that was my first experience of going back to my heavenly home and being told or being reminded. So that's how I know.
Wow. And then that experience is so powerful you can't forget.
No, you
It's
can't.
with
I
you.
tried. There were years that I tried, and the years that I was like, "Oh, come on, that was just a dream. I must be crazy." So, I went to neurologists, therapists. I mean, I really tried to deconstruct it. I talked to neurologists about, can the brain just make that up? I mean, I went through everything.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a certified teacher. I went to seminary. I've studied the brain. I really tried to talk my way out of this. Really, I was an atheist for a while. I'm solid,
Yeah.
and yet this is legitimate. Now I work in the field of um, physics, like metaphysical physics. This is my world. And what I gained when I came back was what many call upsight vision. So when I'm in my space, especially when I'm not experiencing depression or anxiety and my belly is full and I've slept well, what I see in my room is like data. I see holographs. I see um looks like what you'd see written in the pyramids. I see letters and numbers, and it's always moving. And that's what was downloaded. I think it's light language, and I can see people's auric fields. And then if I go to the movies and I watch a movie that's fiction, it's so lovely because it's not in there. It's great. If I see a documentary, different. It's all because that's real.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another thing. And they tell me, the angels say that this is how children are being born. They're able to see this too. And I've heard people call it upsight vision. And it's pretty interesting because I can tell I don't do it often because I give people their privacy, but I can tell if people are saying a lie
Mhm.
because their data will change. But I honestly don't do that because people deserve to have their privacy. I never, ever look in people's brains, ever, ever, unless they ask me to.
Yeah. I don't know why it just popped in my head, but have you ever got a chance to read the Mary Poppins books?
Oh, yeah.
And then there's that always amazed me. There's a reference there where the little baby is it one or is it twins? I don't know remember, but there's a little baby and then the change happens when she turns 1, where she can no longer speak to the animals and or understand the animals and and all these things, and there's this marking of that almost like data switch, and it fascinated me that even in an old book like Mary Poppins that comes up.
There's so much magic in literature that is older, and then there seems to be I don't wanna speak too generally, because my one of my first majors was English literature
Oh, wow.
and British literature. Yeah, and I noticed in a lot of those old texts, there's so much magic in there, and then when I went into teaching it, felt like I wasn't allowed to teach it. And I was like, wait, did the target change? Because when I was with my friends and my professors, I mean, we would dig deep. We're like, oh my. And Harry Potter wasn't out yet because that was a long time ago when I was in college. But it was so magical. And then when I became a public school teacher, I felt like I was in a different realm. But I don't hate it because I feel like that's Earth. We have different frequencies that we get to be in and experience. And that's why we're here. Sometimes it's magical, sometimes it's neutral, sometimes it's dark, and we're here to play in all those realms.
Oh, wow. So is that what the multiverse is? These different frequencies we play in?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. We can be in this version of us. You and I are talking, and within a conversation, our vibrational frequencies can change. Just like I'm looking at you, and you have this sunlight that just poured in
I
because
know.
your frequency has changed. So,
Oh,
what's happening? Let's talk just in physics right now. There's another version of you that at some point in your life, when you made a major choice, let's say to be spiritual, there's another version of you that said, I love that so much that I'm actually going to move to Peru and be that spiritual person that goes to the mountains and meditates 24/7. That version of you probably looks just like you, is exactly the same age, but is having a version of your life, like a fractal of your soul. Because this timeline, here's your timeline, it's sprouted off into another version.
hmm.
So that version of you is listening energetically or participating energetically, not consciously. She doesn't know about us. But because we're talking similarly, that energy is amplifying us. That's why the sunlight's coming in.
Oh my goodness.
It's like we're singing the same song.
It's
That's how parallels work.
uh,
Now, she probably just got up to go to the bathroom or something because the light just went. That's how it works. Now, in other parallels,
Hi, Sparkles. Before we get back to today's conversation, I want to share a few ways that I can support you. If you've ever wondered whether the energy of your home could be affecting your mood, clarity, intuition, or overall well being, I've created a free interactive quiz. In just a few minutes, you'll discover your home energy type and receive personalized guidance to help create more peace, alignment, and delicious ease in your home and life. And if you're ready to go deeper, I offer home frequency reset sessions where I help clear energetic clutter and realign the energy of your space so it feels more calm, supportive, and aligned with the life you want to create. And I do that mostly remotely, so it is open to everyone. You can learn more about the quiz, my home frequency reset services, and book a session on my website. Go to deliciousease.com. And if you're looking for even more inspiration, be sure to pick up a copy of my book, Make Ease Your Vibe. It's filled with practical tools, reflections, and insights to help you create more ease, trust yourself more deeply, and live with greater intention. You can find Make Ease Your Vibe on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle versions. I believe you deserve to be seen, supported, and inspired. And you deserve a home that loves you back. All right, now let's get back to today's episode.
let's just make up an example. If someone is in a relationship that is unhealthy and they're deciding to stay in that, well, their parallel might have decided, no, I'm out. I'm out of that relationship. So this healthy relationship might be in a parallel because anytime we make a major choice, the alternate creates a parallel.
Wow.
So the healthy choice can affect this person struggling, but it would affect the person struggling in dream state, meditation, if the person gets high, anytime you're in a non ordinary state, but it's very passive. What we've found is that since you are you and you are, let's say you own all of your parallels, you can control. I don't like the word control. Gabriel, help me. You can design. You can design your core life, which is the one you and I are talking to. You can design your core life by pulling in information, data, good stuff, vibrations from your other lifetimes to serve you because they belong to you. The way you know what's going on in your other parallels is that in this version of you, if there's anything you desire or want to heal or amplify, that's coming to you because it's happening in another parallel. You're channeling it. You just naturally think of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the opposite too. If you have fears about the world, about anything, about yourself, it's happening in another parallel. So you could say, yeah, that's scary. It's okay to feel the fear. We do not have to. What is it when they say about spirituality that you don't need to? Um, well, we want to be responsible about it. It's okay to feel your feelings. Be responsible. Feel your feelings, you're safe. After you feel your feelings, then you can say, all right, wherever this is in my other lifetimes, my parallels, I send it light. I send it healing. The words don't matter. It's the intent. You could say, I love myself. I love you. Other version of me, be strong. Angels, whatever your belief system is, Jesus, Buddha, my peeps, send support. I did an arm action there that's because I kind of visualize my parallels like an accordion,
Hmm.
but it doesn't matter. You can't get this wrong. And then if there's something that is powerful or good that you want to pull into this lifetime, imagine it with as much detail as you can. And then you could inhale it in, bring that into this version. You could pick it up like a thread, pull it into your heart. These things work because that idea that as above, so below, what we create in the physical world creates itself in the spiritual world. We really have found in physics that this is our avatar form. And we're commanding things in the spirit world. Spirit world is helping us in the avatar form. We're creators here and we're finding formulas to prove that. So if you and I were talking about this honestly, if you and I were having this chat 5 years ago, I'd be like, I don't think this is really going to work, but it's funny, right? It's fun. Let's just have fun. No, no, no. This stuff works. This works. I have proof. Just a couple weeks ago, I was struggling to get my mind around finishing a big project because I have ADHD. I was diagnosed with level 2 autism as an adult. My brain struggles, and I believe it struggles because of the car wreck. I had brain damage from it. Um, so as an adult, I really have to rally to get stuff done. So I had this picture in my brain of the version of me I wanted to be in that moment, which was successful grown up Rachel. So what I did was I said, can you just come, like, be my clone? Can you sit on my lap and be me? And then what happens next is I got this thought, get out of your house, walk to the library. I have a beautiful library 3 blocks down. Walk to the library, work there. I did that. And that version of me, she just kind of channeled through me the right things to do. And instead of it being a moment like, okay, I pull in $500, that could work too. But instead, what I did was I uploaded wisdom or I downloaded wisdom. She showed me what to do. Go to the library, different setting, and I was able to finish something. So it's also that it's pulling in the higher wisdom that you have because she had found a way. Maybe she doesn't have the brain damage. Maybe she wasn't in the car wreck, but she helped this version of me, and it felt very loving. And then I'm asking the angels if there's anything we need to do to close the parallels, and they're saying no, they're always open. And if there's any management of the timelines, our angels do it for us.
Wow. I remember when I learned about angels, it's been a few years, but fairly recently in my life, how wonderful it felt to know you're never alone and there's so much support.
Yeah.
That was such a deep realization and comfort. And then when I hear you speak, I feel like you've just brought that to a next level because you've talked about how we can learn to work with and interact and be with source directly, but also this idea that we can gather help and support from the different parts of ourselves
Mhm.
and not just the angels. That's a lot to
Yeah,
think about.
absolutely. Because we all have that part of us, or our whole part is from a higher realm. And we're wearing this beautiful earth costume that suits us well. And also it matches the vibe of this dimension. So it feels heavy, feels dense because it matches this realm, right? Matches this code. I would also like to offer something that was really meaningful to me when I realized this is about the time when I had finished seminary. I was leading a church, but this church was special. This church was a spiritual church. It was Unity Worldwide. And yet, even though it was a spiritual church, it still had dogma. I loved it. If anybody wants a church that is more spiritual and not religious, check out Unity. And yet, for me as a person, it still had a lot of boxes. And so I was trying to work on that in my own personal heart. I heard the angels say, you know, Rachel, we're not religious. Angels aren't religious. We follow you. We follow our people. And I want to say that out loud because when we hear the word angels, I think because of our culture, we might automatically go to religion, go to
Mm.
Bible. And I'd like to say that they're not. They follow us. They're just spirit. They're just pure love. Boy, when they taught me that, oh, I just felt so free. Because sometimes I almost didn't want to pull them in because I thought they were going to give me like the religious aspect of my question or push me back to God. And I didn't always want to go back to God. I wanted to go out in nature. And they're like, well, who do you think it is? And they said, you don't even have to use the word God. You could just say source, mama, papa, nothing. And it was just so forgiving and wonderful.
I agree. That's
Yeah.
wonderful and so welcoming.
Yes.
Well, I feel like I could ask you a million questions. Is there anything else you would like to add to our conversation?
Mm. They would like to say that, there's, as you and I talk, it's the end of February 2026 right now. The angelic realm, and they're surrounded. So I've got 4 archangels right now. I have Archangel Azrael, who serves as the angel of death, but also the angel of change. And then I have Archangel Gabriel, our communicator, Archangel Raphael, our healer, and Archangel Celeste, who's bringing a lot of music and sound healing to us. And then behind them, I have a whole galactic council. They all look different. There's one that is blue. There's one that is tall and white with long hair. There's one that looks like a cat, like a humanoid cat. And there's one that looks almost like an octopus. There's all different beings, but I can't count them. There's so many. But what they're saying to me is they are aware of what is going on in the world, that things are, one of them is joking, like the one that is the tall cat. He has an earth cat with him, and he says, Mama Earth is like a hairball, throwing everything up. But we're going to look at it like an owl pellet.
Oh,
We're going to
goodness.
pull it apart and see everything in it scientifically. That's what our job is. So think of it this way. Instead of this being thrown up and it's entertaining, ooh, let's do it again. It's this time we're going to help everyone on earth
look at what's being thrown up and say, okay, we're going to put this into the holy libraries and it will not be done again. And this will allow all of you on earth to reconstruct how you want to live. He says, this feels dense, sometimes scary, because this is unknown. Every time Earth has tried to do this, there's like a force behind them that they won't let me see, but it feels scaly and dark. There's been a reset button. And right now they put a cage over it and they said it won't be hit this time. Wow. I'm asking them if they're speaking symbolically, and they said no, not symbolically. There has been a reset and it won't be this time. So for you and I and the audience, they said, for now, don't get stuck in the vibration of fear. Be in the vibration of clarity. Feel all of your feelings. And Gabriel said, even if it's fear, but no fear as strength. Ask the fear, what are you really about? Ask yourself, what are you scared of? Because then he shows me we have the parallel lives, and then he added like a drop-down library of other lifetimes. And he said people are going to feel their bravery and their trauma from other lifetimes, but consider it a library of tools. This is what you'll use. And he says people will be encouraged to use their peacemaking skills, their communication skills, instead of picking up the sword, instead of picking up the guns. And that's going to be the new way forward. There will be a balance between doing that and protecting themselves and protecting their families. People will be strong, but they're not showing me that the way forward, in the next 1,000 years, the way of the earth moving forward, there won't be battles. It's the next 10 years that's really tender because we're remaking it. And I think 10 years is just the first baby step. So he says right now, all of these beings around, they're creating this big, it looks like 2 angel wings, and they're around the whole earth. And they said nothing can penetrate this protection. It's a false narrative that the earth is in trouble.
Oh. It's an evolution.
Evolution. Then I don't know if I can quite get all of this. Let's see how much they'll give me. There's something, I'm seeing the center of the earth. I'm going to bilocate for a second. There is a big civilization in the center of the earth that kept themselves completely anonymous until about 6 months ago. And I don't know any information about them, but I can see that there's a big, beautiful light that's emanating, and then it shoots up like a big beam of light. And they are also part of this conversation. So I don't know what they are, who they are, but they feel good. And I'm hearing Azrael say, the angel of death, he's saying, consider duality, that they may not be the friendliest or the easiest to talk to, but they are good. And this is part of the difficulty, that when talking to many different types of beings, they're not always Iowa nice. Like, how you doing? No. And we've got to remember that as we talk to other beings in the galaxy or beings from inner Earth, not to judge when we meet each other, just because they might not shake hands or hug or smile. They are being friendly in their way. We've got to know their customs. It's almost like we have been too narcissistic or egoic to make them consider them, well, you must be like us. You have to greet us like we do. Got to like calm all that down. Gabriel says, we'll walk you all through it. And there are people on Earth that have been trained to do this throughout their lives that might think that they've been abducted by extraterrestrials, but it's never an abduction. They've been trained. So they may have stories of when they're little having extraterrestrial visits and things, but instead of these stories of being probed and things, actually what's been happening is these beautiful extraterrestrials have watched them their whole lives. So when it comes time for these populations to merge, these humans on Earth all of a sudden will be able to understand them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's what they show me. In the Bible, this looks like Pentecost Sunday, when all of a sudden everybody can understand everybody. The fire of Pentecost, that's where it is in the Bible. But actually what that's doing is it's preparing us for this big potluck. I just heard the angels say. Funny, guys. And it looks like, though we've been talking, Gabriel says, though we've been talking about the Great Awakening so many times and so many lifetimes, and then he's taken me in this lifetime in the 60s, Vietnam War, we tried. There's so many times it almost happened, and then reset button. Here we are. It is unstoppable.
Wow.
They're very talkative today. I hope it's not too much.
Oh, no. It's just so much to try to wrap your head around and absorb. But I
Yeah.
very much appreciate it. Where can
Yeah.
listeners connect with you and your work?
Well, likely when you are dreaming, my friends, you'll see me. And so if you are struggling, you can always set an intention that you call me out and say, come have a meeting with me in your dreams. I'm always available. Please don't do it on Sundays because I need to sleep Saturday nights and Sunday nights. But other nights, if you need me, set that intention. And where we'll meet is someplace called the Hill. So ask me to meet at the Hill. And in scripture, it's where Jesus called the children. It's that same place. So if you imagine it, that's where you can find me. And we can't talk long because there's a lot of people, but that's our meeting place. Now, if you want to meet in this realm, my website is my name, rachelcorpus.com. And I see clients during the day, business hours, and sometimes in the evening if you really need that. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook, not faithfully because I'm old. And I have a podcast called Angel Talk, and you can listen to that whenever you want with your headphones in. And I hope to connect with you and help you on your journey. I don't know anything, but your guides and your angels do. And it's my job simply to tell you what they say. That's it. So if that serves you, you can get a hold of me. I have a sliding scale. So everyone reach out and I'll get you in as soon as possible. So this is for everyone. So don't let cost get in the way. We'll make it work. And like I said, you can find me in the realms at any time. Okay. But please let it be at night. Because when I meditate during the day and people are trying to work with me, that's kind of my time to do my own learning. So it's got to be at night, your night, wherever you are.
Amazing. Well, the links I'll include in the show notes. And thank you so much. I very much appreciate this conversation.
I appreciate you. So nice to see you again in this lifetime. And also you're on my show. So catch that, everyone.
Yes, we're doing a podcast swap. Very exciting. Thank you. Hi, Sparkles. If today's episode resonated with you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little more peace, clarity, and support. I appreciate your help. To learn more about my home frequency reset services, take the free home energy type quiz, and explore my book, Make Ease Your Vibe, be sure to visit my website, deliciousease.com. That's DELICIOUSEASE.com. And remember, Sparkles, peace is possible, your intuition is trustworthy, and creating a life that feels aligned and supported starts right where you are. All the best, and see you soon.